Well, good morning and welcome back to the Yoked Podcast, where we align our faith, our fitness, and our finances for a fully surrendered life to God's design. I'm your host, Marty Hale, and I look forward to spending the next 20-30 minutes with you. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into the real meaning of being yoked, not just as a brand, but as a biblical principle that affects every single area of my life, of your life. It affects not just my spiritual life, it affects my physical life, it affects my social life, my family life, my financial life, my recreational life, my educational life, my mental life. There's not a single area of our life that being yoked to either the right people in the right places and the right things, or being yoked to the wrong people, the wrong places, the wrong things. Anyhow, our anchor scriptures are Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 through 30 that I'm going to read to us, and then 2 Corinthians 6, 14 through 17. But Matthew 11, 28, Jesus says, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take up my yoke and learn from me, because I am lowly and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." I'm going to read 2 Corinthians 6:14 also real quickly, and I'm going to try to quote it here. It says, "Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common?" Well, we know the answer to that. Absolutely nothing. There couldn't be two further things apart, right? Or what do fellowship, or what does fellowship, what can fellowship and light have with darkness? It can't. What harmony is there between Christ and Belial? None. What does a believer have in common with an unbeliever? Nothing at all, right? But before we unpack this spiritually, let's first understand the setting in Matthew chapter 11. Jesus has been preaching and teaching in Galilee, and he's been calling people to repentance. Just before this invitation, right here in Matthew chapter 11, 28, just before this, guys, he's rebuking cities like Bethsaida and Capernaum for rejecting him despite witnessing all the miracles that he had done. I mean, think about it. He had healed lepers. He had cast out demons. He had walked on water. He had fed 5,000. Guys, he had done all kinds of miracles, and these people had still rejected him. The Jewish people in that era, when Jesus said these words in Matthew 11, 28, those people that were hearing these words were absolutely exhausted. They were worn out physically, emotionally, spiritually. They were crushed under the weight of a legalistic religion, bound by endless man-made rules, and that was all stacked on top of God's commands by the Pharisees. You see, they were also burdened by the pressure of the Roman occupation with taxes and injustice and all types of financial fraud, I'm sure. They were burdened into exhaustion. And Jesus says, "Come to me." He doesn't say come to religion, not to rule keeping. He says, "Come to me," to relationship. That's what it's about. That's what yoke's about. You see, he invites them to exchange their heavy burdens, all this oppression that they're under, for his light yoke, a yoke of grace, not one of works, of alignment, not exhaustion. This is the heart of yoked. You see, alignment with Jesus brings freedom, not bondage, rest, not striving, peace, not pressure. You feel any of those things in your life? I know I do every day. I feel like I'm bound by something. I'm exhausted. I'm striving to be better. I've got all kinds of financial pressures on me, health pressures on me, family pressures on me, relationship pressures on me. We all do, don't we? You see, a yoke is what links two animals together. I talked to you about it on Monday. It was a wooden plank with two leather harnesses that would go around the necks of each oxen as they would plow a field, or maybe around horses as they would pull a chariot. But they couldn't separate from each other, and it would keep them in alignment with each other. They had to go in the same direction. They had to move at the same pace. They had to pull with the same strength. It was as if they were one unit. When Jesus says, "my yoke," He's inviting us to share life with him. A shared strength, a shared peace, a shared direction. You see, being yoked with Jesus doesn't remove the work. It doesn't remove the struggles. It doesn't remove the obstacles. It doesn't remove the heartaches and the heartbreaks, but it changes how we carry it. You see, his yoke is light because he carries the heaviest part. His yoke brings peace because it moves at his pace, not our pace. His yoke leads to progress because it's aligned with God's will, not with the world. You know, many today are burned out because they're yoked to the wrong things. I can tell you right now, we as a society today, when you look at social media, we are yoked to approval. We are yoked to hustle. We're yoked to success. We're yoked to toxic relationships. We're even yoked to religion. We're yoked to debt. We're yoked to all kinds of things that we shouldn't be yoked to, that are unhealthy for us. They're not good. They destroy our lives. And you got to think about it. When you're yoked to the wrong thing, you are trapped. It's like your head is in a noose and you're headed in the wrong direction. Think when you're yoked to somebody who's not a believer and they're headed that way when you're supposed to be headed that way. What happens? Every thought you have, you're being pulled in that direction. Every word spoken out of your mouth is being pulled from that direction. You want it to be coming from this direction, but you're being pulled in this direction because you're yoked over here. Think about your actions. You ever feel stuck? Just think about that. Think about the concept of just being stuck in life. I've said it more times than I can count. I just feel stuck. We all say, that it's like a grave with the ends kicked out, living in a rut. Why is that? If you feel stuck, it's because you are yoked to the wrong people, the wrong things, and they're pulling you in that direction when you really want to be going in that direction. And so because of that, you're stuck without any movement. You want rest? You want rest for your soul? Rest is not what a lot of people think. It's not inactivity. Rest isn't just sitting on the couch, binge watching soap operas, television shows, reality TV, comedies, movies, or whatever else. That's not rest. Because Jesus is talking about alignment. You see, in fitness, rest builds strength, doesn't it? You got to take a day off. You can't work the same muscle group every single day. That muscle group that you are stretching, that you are breaking, in order for it to grow, it's got to rest a day. It's got to recover. Well, we've got to do the same thing spiritually. We got to do the same thing emotionally that we have to do physically, because that rest is what builds our muscle back. That's what gives us strength. We need rest. In finances, stewardship is what brings peace. In faith, rest comes when we stop striving, when we stop straining, and we just trust Jesus to lead us. You see, Jesus says, learn from me. This is discipleship. It's learning his rhythms, his priorities, his wisdom, his way of life. You see, when you're yoked to him, you'll move forward in peace. You'll carry only what's necessary, and you'll walk with clarity, not with chaos and confusion and doubt and fear and, the pressure of the struggles of this life. You'll have a clear mind. You'll have peace in your heart that actually surpasses understanding. Let's understand the setting for Paul's words that he wrote to the Corinthians in 2 Corinthians 6:14 through 16. Paul, interestingly, he was actually writing to a church in the city of Corinth. And this was a wealthy community, influential Greek city. It was known for commerce. It was known for its financial status, but it was also known for immorality and pagan worship. It was a city that was full of temptation, idolatry, cultural confusion. And the Corinthian Christians, they were surrounded by spiritual compromise. It was kind of like what I was saying a second ago. They loved the Lord. They wanted to be yoked with Jesus. They wanted to head in this direction, but they were right in the middle of a cesspool city that they were also yoked to. And so they were being pulled in this direction to do things that were immoral. I mean, for goodness sakes, there was a guy there that was sleeping with his father's wife. There was so much immorality. There was so much wickedness, so much evil. And he's writing to these people. And see, they were being tempted to do all kinds of stuff, to enter business deals with people who had no integrity whatsoever. Some of them were dating and marrying people that didn't even believe that Jesus was the Son of God. You got to think about that. They were marrying people who had a completely opposite philosophy than they had. I want you to think about raising your kids. If you have two complete different philosophies about raising kids, one of you don't believe in any discipline at all. You're not supposed to discipline your kid. The other one, you firmly believe you're supposed to discipline your kids. Kid does something wrong. What happens? Chaos, confusion, fear, mistake after mistake after mistake. You know, there's no difference if you marry somebody who's unequally yoked. And that's what these people were doing. They were dating people like that. They were in relationships. Their friends, they were surrounding themselves with people that made them feel like it was okay to just do what makes me feel good. Live for me now, not to take care of my kids, not to take care of my wife or my husband or my family. I want to live for me. Finally, I've sacrificed my whole life. It's time that I get to choose what I want to do. Because of their surroundings. Their surroundings were influencing the people that they had put in those places was impacting their mentality. It was impacting their worldview. It was impacting the principles that they'd built their life on. It wasn't just distracting them. It was destroying their relationship with the Lord. It was devastating their relationship with God. And not just with the Lord. If their children were believers and they were headed that way, what was happening with their relationship with their kids? It was destroying that too. What they were trying to do in Corinth is they were trying to blend Christianity with pagan practices. You know, we see this all the time, and we see this everywhere. I'm going to tell you, this whole idea, this mystical movement, this spiritual movement where the word God is used, but yet it's really not about God's word. It's not about him. It's about feelings. It's about intuition. It's about, as Rex says, the quiver in their liver. That's what they were struggling with. They were struggling with all this stuff. And so Paul uses this imagery of a yoke, of a wooden plank with leather straps to warn them. You see, if you're tied to someone that's, like I said, moving in the opposite of God's direction, you're going to be more than just feel resistance. You will absolutely be pulled completely off of the course that God wants you on. And when I say you'll be pulled off the course that God wants you on, you will make decisions in anger, in confusion, out of fear, out of a complete false reality. You'll make things up in your head. You'll listen to people who have no relationship whatsoever with the Lord. They have, and what is wisdom? What is wisdom? It's to fear the Lord. You will literally get what you call wisdom from people who do not fear the Lord. They don't fear the Lord at all. That's not wisdom. That's a false sense of reality, and you don't want to find yourself in that situation. You see, here's what happens. Not only will you make a lot of really bad decisions that you may not regret immediately, but you will one day. And when that day comes, it might be too late. Let me tell you something. Wrong alignment with the wrong people, the wrong things you watch, the wrong associations. I know it's easy. I know it's easier to hang out with people who agree with everything you want to do. I know. It's easier to hang out with people that aren't going to challenge me. It's easier to hang out with people who aren't going to try to keep me in the gym or help me to eat healthy, or it's easier to hang out with people who aren't going to try to do the Lord's will. They're just going to live for themselves and do what feels good. I know it's easier, but I'm going to tell you what ends up happening. When you align yourself with the wrong people, it's going to lead to exhaustion, compromise, and a ton of confusion. And that's the last thing that you want in your life. If you want peace, it doesn't come from confusion. Rest. You want rest for your weary soul, for your burdened being. It doesn't come from worldly wisdom. It doesn't come from being yoked. You're roped too, right? I mean, when you're yoked, you are roped in right around the neck, it feels like. Doesn't come from that. And what Paul was saying in 2 Corinthians 6, it wasn't just about marriage, guys. It relates to everything. It relates to business. It relates to your friendships. It relates to the community. Anything in the world that is influencing you that is the opposite of what this word right here would tell you to do is going to take you astray. It's going to cause you pain beyond your understanding. It's not going to give you the peace that surpasses all understanding. You know, today we face all these same temptations, guys. I face it every day. I know you do too. We all do. And I'm not sitting here shaking my finger at you or shame on you. Look, I've been there. Paul says he was the greatest sinner of all time. Let me tell you something. I think I have him beat, okay? So I'm not judging you. I'm wanting to help you. I'm wanting to help you to understand what this word says and what it means to be yoked with Jesus, to find peace. Not to judge you, not to make you feel bad. That's what the Pharisees were doing to the Christians. That's why Jesus said, come to me. Not come to religion, not come to church. Come to me. Have a relationship with me. I will give you rest. That's what you're looking for. If you need some rest, don't develop business partnerships with people who don't share your same value. Friendships that are rooted in comfort, not conviction. Fitness communities that are driven by image, not stewardship. Man, I could spend all day on this one. So many people go to the gym. They need accountability, so they get involved in a class with a bunch of people. And look, I'm not saying there's a whole lot wrong with it, but it's the intent. A lot of these people, they're going to the gym every day. They're eating healthy, and their real goal is to look good. It's to build their self-esteem. It's about beauty. It's not about stewardship of the vessel that God gave them. It's not about taking care of his temple so that they can live his purpose. There's a big difference in those two. Financial deals that are built on greed, not generosity. It's so hard. It's so hard to say no to all these things. Well, let me tell you something. Paul's words in 2 Corinthians apply. Alignment matters. Being yoked with Jesus, being yoked with his word, being yoked with his people in every aspect of your life matters. You see, the right yoke will move you forward. The wrong yoke will move you backwards. It'll drain you. It'll delay you. It'll detour you. It's like you're going on a long road trip on vacation with your family, and you're not looking at any map, and you're just going by what feels right. You know, the last time we took this 1,000-mile trip, I think we turned on this interstate, and the next thing you know, you find out that was the wrong interstate, but you're 100 miles out of the way already, and you end up going in circles. It's no different. It's no different. When you're not letting this life map, blueprint for your life, when you're not letting it give you directions, you end up lost. You end up in chaos, right? It does detour you from the very thing you want in your life: rest and peace, contentment. So check your alignment in these three areas. Faith. Number one, faith. Are you yoked to Jesus? And I'm not just saying in some hypothetical, emotional, ooey gooey way that's in our mind. Are you yoked to him in your daily habits? In other words, are you praying every day? Are you having conversations with him every day? Really pouring it all out, laying it all out on the line, giving it all to him. Are you doing that? Are you spending that time communicating with him? And I'm not just saying, God, please help me with my health, God, please help me pay my bills. God, please give me that new, car. Are you thanking him? Are you thanking him for giving you rest when you're weary? Helping you to stay on track. We talked about Monday that a yoke is like a dog leash, a horse halter, a lead rope. It's not to judge us, guys. It's not the rules of do's and don'ts. Those leashes, that's what protects our animals. Those halters and lead ropes are what protect our horses. The reason why we put our dog on a leash is so he doesn't run out in the road and get hit by a car, right? That's what being yoked with Jesus does. It protects us and it gives us peace. So are you yoked with him every day in your prayer? What about in the word? What about in this word right here? In this word right here. Which, hey, by the way, great time to let you know. I may have a little ADHD. We've got the Yoked New Testament, guys. It has been translated word for word, thought for thought, but in a modern language that people can understand. If you have a 7th grade reading capability, you can understand this text, guys. I'm going to give you my personal opinion. I personally believe that it is the most accurate translation that we have on earth today. And I want to give thanks to my good friend Dennis Wilson for all the hard work that he put into this. This would not exist if it was not for him. Literally, it would not exist. Thank the Lord also for it. But you're going to want to get you one of these so that you can follow along in these podcasts as well as other studies that we do. And I'll tell you how to get that here in just a few moments. But are you yoked with him in his word? Are you yoked with him in his word? Are you bound to what this says? People all the time, I hear people all the time say, man, the Lord spoke to me. Really, what'd you read? Oh, well, I wasn't reading. I just had this feeling. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I listen to him and everything. And I think, I have feelings all the time. And I know for sure it ain't the Lord speaking to me. Even when they're good feelings. Guys, you want to know what you're supposed to be doing. You want to know what your purpose in life is. You want to know how to raise your kids and grandbabies. You want to know how to treat your husband or your spouse. You want to know why you need to be healthy physically. You want to know how to be financially free. You want to know how to be a good steward of what God's put in you. You want to know whether to say yes to this opportunity or no to this opportunity. You want to know where you should live, who you should hang out with, what kind of food you should eat or not eat. Know every answer to every question in your life. It's not going to come from the television. It's not going to come from the songs you listen to. I'm going to tell you, I could spend an hour just on music. There are so many people in this world that listen to music as if it's from God. They literally think that the lyrics of a song is meant to direct their decisions in their relationships, in their marriages, I do believe that God inspires us to write, to sing, to do things. But guys, this is the only absolute truth in the world. This book right here, his word. This is what you want to be yoked to. Don't strap yourself to your favorite entertainers. Don't you dare put your head through that yoke. It don't matter how popular the band is. Doesn't matter how old they are. It doesn't matter what their lyrics are and the ooey gooey emotional feeling you get from those and the people that are sending them to you and the people that are singing them to you and the people that are playing them with you and the people that are asking you to dance to this or to dance to that. Or let me tell you something. That is not God speaking to you. In fact, it's the enemy. More times than not, it's the enemy. You see, that's how he gets us to yoke with him rather than to yoke with the Lord. It's this word. This is how he speaks to us. Are you yoked to this? Or are you yoked to the subliminal messaging in music, in TV shows, in other books that you might read? Are you yoked to him in worship? I mean, I see people that they will spend hours in the woods, amazed by creation, by the stars in the sky, the trickling of the streams, the waterfalls, the beautiful colors of the flowers. They will be amazed at all that, not amazed at the one who created it. There's a difference. There's a difference. Are you yoked to him in worship? Are you yoked to the Lord in worship? Your fitness life. We talk about that. We're going to talk about that more. I think it's tomorrow, maybe. I don't remember. Man, I'm way off on all of this, I think, Rex. You can tell me anyhow. But are you yoked to him with your habits and the communities that you align yourself with when it comes to your discipline on what you eat and what you don't eat, your discipline and how you exercise or don't exercise, your discipline with your stewardship of the temple that God gave, of the vessel that God gave you, of his temple? Are your habits and communities aligned with discipline, health, and stewardship? And in your financial life, are your deals, your business deals, your partnerships, and stewardship of the money, the resources that God's given you, are those rooted in biblical principles of generosity and integrity? That's the question. That's the question. Anybody can make a lot of money. Making money is easy. And it's easy to lose it all, too. In fact, it's easier to lose it all. You see, the right alignment will protect your peace. It'll protect your pace. It'll protect your purpose. The right alignment. Being yoked to the wrong things, they're going to destroy your peace. They're going to devastate your pace. They're going to kill your purpose. But the right alignment, it protects your peace, your pace, and your purpose. Guys, being yoked is more than a podcast, man. It's more than even just a principle. You see, Jesus offers you alignment, rhythm, and rest. So ask yourself today, who or what are you yoked to? Is it bringing you life, or is it draining the life out of you? If this blessed you, this podcast blessed you, I ask that you would share this episode. And don't forget to check out our latest books, guys, all written to help you stay aligned in faith, fitness, and finance. We've not just got the Yoked New Testament. We've also got not you can go to hell, Dennis, but you can go to hell. We've also got Self-Help is No Help. Amazing, amazing, amazing. All these books are great, even if I say so myself, guys. We've got Created to Heal. Created to Heal. It talks about exosomes. It talks about stem cells. It talks about fasting. It talks about God's plan to heal your body. We've got the Reset Code, too, that's all about fasting. We got God's Carnivore Code. You know, the number one selling book right now on Amazon, I heard, was the Carnivore Code. And after understanding it, doesn't have anything to do with God. It has to do with evolution and all this stuff that's not even true. What a great idea that Dennis had. God's Carnivore Code. Got Healing Herb, The Richest Man in Babylon, is rewritten in today's modern language so you can understand it. We've got more coming. And if you want to find these books, just go to straighttruthpress.com, straighttruthpress.com, and you can get any of these. They'll ship out the same day. And we're going to be talking about that. Each of these, we're going to go through different chapters. I'm going to have guests on here. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff in being yoked in your faith, your fitness, and your finances. So I encourage you, stay yoked, stay free, stay strong. Until next time.